It has officially been 1 year since I bought my 2008 335 Xi. When I bought it, it only had 64,000 miles on it. It was stock with the exception of the VRSF charge pipe. We'll get into the mods later in the video. Based on other things I observed with the car, it seemed to be untampered mod-wise. Owning this car can bring you so much happiness and at the same time shoot you down from those great heights into the darkest pits of despair, financial despair. Today we're going to take a journey through what owning a 335i is really like. I know I'm back again and it seems like I don't ever drive my cars. I do have some other stuff planned mechanically. It's the middle of the winter still, and I'm sorry, I'm doing what I can here to still put out content for you guys. But let's get right into it. Starting off, I've really only put about 4,000 miles on this car since I've got it, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but there are specific reasons for that. I guess with that being said, we'll start off getting into the maintenance. This is the thing high schoolers hate to hear about and will neglect to do anyways with their car, so if that's you, feel free to skip this part of the video. But for real though, the biggest reason I haven't driven this car more than I have is because of maintenance. Simply put, I feel like I've had a more unique set of problems with this car than most. First issue I had with this car was a serpentine belt. After about a month or so, it started to squeak and I had to have that replaced. Thankfully, in the world of 335i and N54, that was a pretty cheap replacement. I mean, who am I kidding? It was like $100 or less, which really isn't too bad when you're talking about an N54. Next, I started to get an occasional ticking sound from the driver's side of the engine. At first I thought the engine was toast, and I knew it wasn't the lifters because it wasn't a consistent sound. After some research and digging, I concluded that it was the evap. I haven't maintained this since then, because everything I was reading concluded that the only issue that this would cause with the car is worsened or lowered fuel mileage. And this car is already not good on gas, so I'm not too worried about losing a mile or two per gallon. I will be replacing that sensor soon and have a video coming out on that, so make sure you subscribe. So this is where things start to get a little weird, and it's kind of a little bit my fault, I believe. The problem that I'm going to tell you about now started after I did the downpipes, which involved dropping the subframe because I have an XI model. I'm assuming since we didn't fully drop the subframe, we just kind of loosened up the bits we needed to and pulled to get the stock downpipes out. I can only assume that we knocked something loose or messed up a ball joint or bushing or bearing or something like that. What this ended up causing is memory steer. So basically, let me break this down for you. If my wheel's perfectly centered and I go around a left turn, when I come out of that left turn, my wheel will remain slightly to the left until I go around a right turn, and then it'll recenter, and then if I go around another right turn, the wheel will be to the right. Or if I hit a bump, the steering wheel will go to whatever side the bump was on that I hit, and it'll stay there, but the car will keep going straight. It's a very strange issue, and it's not fun to drive the car, and I'm not too sure how safe it is, so I've just tried to drive the car as little as possible ever since this. After getting the car realigned, it still had the same issue, so I knew it had nothing to do with that. Took it back to the alignment shop, told them what was going on, had them relook at everything, check all the steering components and whatnot, and they said there were no issues, and all signs led to the strut bearings. So on the top of the struts, there's little bearings that can get worn down if too much tension or pressure is put on them. Did my own research, seemed this would be a common cause of memory steer. I went ahead and ordered coilovers for this car, hoping that that would fix the issue. Coilovers came in about a week later, got them installed, and guess what? Same freaking issue. So this problem still goes unsolved to this day, and it is the biggest reason that I do not drive this car as much as I do. I plan to take it to a BMW dealership and have them inspect it so I can order the correct parts to fix it. I know I could take the car apart myself in the driveway, but I really don't feel like doing that, and it'll probably save me hours of headache and swearing for no reason, and I probably won't be able to find the issue anyways if the other shop wasn't able to. After that issue, the car began to oscillate about 2 or 3 months later. Basically what happens is the AFR spikes up and down when I'm cruising above 2,000 RPMs. You can literally see the needle going like this when I'm cruising, and you can feel the car jolting back and forth. The car did end up throwing a couple codes for this. I have 29E1 for mixture control 2, and 2D2B for intake manifold pressure sensor overrun. I've yet to try to tackle these issues just because of the memory steer problem. Once I get that fixed, I'd be more inclined to try to get the engine lights fixed. The car still does drive. I know it's for sure underpowered, and I'll get into that once we get into the mods, but I do have a couple indications of what this could be. I want to try to avoid injectors just because they're insane cost right now. So I'm going to start cleaning the injectors to see if that can help clear up the issue. Issue-wise, doesn't sound too bad for this car, but considering I've only put 4,000 miles on it, Even if you take out the memory steer, that's still kind of a lot of issues to have, in my opinion, with any car. But enough of that boring stuff, let's get into the mods. So for some reason, I'm actually just insane or something, and I never popped the hood of this car when I first got it. It took me about a month before I did so, and I guess the reason for this is because all the pictures and videos I received were so good, I felt there was no need to look at anything. But yeah, basically getting a car shipped to you from out of state and not looking under the hood. I don't know. Once I did pop the hood, I looked and saw that there was already an aftermarket charge pipe on the car, did some Googling, compared it to the other parts I saw online, and concluded it was a VRSF. This has the stock diverter valves on it, which I'm very, very thankful for. I'm not a fan of blow-off valves on 335i's at all. With this newfound information, I knew it was time to tune the car. I know the stock charge pipes on this can't handle anything over stock boost, so I called my friend up to see if I could use his MHD adapter, and when I got the confirmation, went online, ordered my MHD software, and headed over to his house. Car was pretty easy to tune, took about 20 minutes on the first upload, and I was super excited. I've never had a tuned car before, so it was just really exciting to be able to tune a car for the first time, especially with my iPhone sitting in a driveway. Once we got the tune uploaded, we took the car out for a ride, and it was definitely much faster than stock. Eventually got to line up with my buddy who has an N55. He was stage 2 plus, I was stage 1. We raced the cars, and my car was about a half a car to one car slower, which I don't think is too bad considering really all my car had was a stage 1 tune. After a few months of this, I was craving more power, and I had to get the VRSF catless downpipes and 5-inch intercooler. So I got those parts in, and the plan was to go stage 2 plus right off the rip. But doing the downpipes on the XI models of this car are a complete headache with the subframe that I explained earlier, so we never got around to the intercooler. Got to take a look at the turbos on the downpipe install. Everything seemed solid, everything seemed good, so I was confident in the turbo's ability to handle more boost. Got everything put back together, ran out of time, like I said, for the intercooler, retuned the car to stage 2, and drove it home. On the first pull I did, blew the charge pipe couplers right off. And that's how I knew that this car was definitely pushing more power than it was before. Got that fixed back up when I got home and ran the car like this for another 2 or 3 months. After the stage 2 tune, that's pretty much when the oscillation began. This is the current issue I'm having with the engine codes that I told you about previously. I'm pretty confident that these issues wouldn't have occurred if I stayed stage 1, but hey, more power, more problems, what can I say? I do know that at stage 2 though, this car does keep up with scat packs, and it may be even faster depending on your setup. I don't know if I was having those issues right away with this tune, and on top of that, my car's all-wheel drive and auto, so if you have a rear-wheel drive or manual, that would definitely help you. I do have plans to add more power to this car, but I have to keep up with the maintenance first. Thankfully, it's still winter, and I have time to get to all that, and I will be documenting all the things I do to this car along the way. I'm just really excited overall to see what else this car has in it, considering I'm still only at stage 2, and there's still so many more mods that I can add to this car. I guess with my experience so far, it's time to recommend or not recommend this car to you. So is the 335i right for you? Well, it all depends on your mechanical skill, wallet size, and or reliability tolerance. I wouldn't ever buy this car as a daily if you plan to heavily mod it. However, if you plan to keep it maybe like stage 1 off the shelf tune, it might be more reliable than say a stage 2 plus or custom tune. But really anything beyond stock or stage 1, this car becomes way too unreliable in my opinion. Or this could just be my case. I know every single car is different. However, if you're looking for a project car, something that you want to make go fast, something that you don't mind working on or getting your hands dirty, or you just feel like giving your mechanic your bank account information, I think this is a great tuning platform. This car out of the box, just with some off-the-shelf parts and about $1,500 in parts, you can make about 400 wheel horsepower. I know a lot of the websites say you'll make 500, but that's more likely to the crank. To get that to the wheels, you're going to have to do a little more than that. But let's be honest, when you're comparing this to other cars, like a lot of the modern V8s, turbo 4-cylinders, naturally aspirated V6s, and other things that car companies were producing and are producing, and you realize that this car's a pretty good bang for your buck. You can get into these cars for under 10 grand, you can spend up to 25 or 30 grand, all depending on what you're looking to get into. Beater, you can get an IS model, manual, low mileage, and no matter what you get into, you're going to be able to mod it and have fun. But like I said earlier, that all depends on what your mechanical skill, reliability tolerance, and wallet is like. You just have to be prepared when you buy one of these cars that it might break, It might be expensive to maintain, it might leave you stranded on the side of the road, and that's just part of it. Now, I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing on this car, because I love 335i's, I love the N54 engine, I love N55s. I just want people to be aware before they purchase this car, especially if you're younger or this is your first car. This might not be for you if you're not ready to deal with all the issues that this car can have. All in all, it's a great car to mod. Maybe not the best to daily if you plan to mod it, but for a car that was built in 2008, it has plenty of great amenities otherwise. And the interior, in my opinion, is pretty comfortable and I like how it looks, but I might be biased because this isn't my first BMW. Thank you to everybody who stuck around to the end. I appreciate you all watching. If you like this video, make sure you check out my other videos like this one right here. I post videos every single Tuesday. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, so they get out my way. Yeah, fast in my lane. Yeah.